This is Eat, Sleep, Box and Repeat, and I'm delighted to be joined by Sam Gilley, who fights on November 27th, defending his English title. Sam, thanks for joining me. You keeping well?
Yes, all good, thank you, mate. You?
Yeah, all good. Thanks. Can't complain. Looking forward to this chat and then your fight in a few weeks. So yeah, it's been, I think it's been about 6 or 7 months since we last spoke. Obviously we chatted before your last fight with Drew Brown. What a
Yeah.
scrap that was, eh?
Yeah, it wasn't the prettiest fight, was it? But no, it was good fun, mate. Good fun and a good learning curve for me. And I mean, it was good as well for exposure and stuff like that because obviously after that, I've managed to get myself on a really good platform.
Yeah, you mentioned there getting yourself on the big platform. Obviously, you did mention that the last time to me. You were saying about how you wanted the opportunity to fight on a big show like this, and here we are on
Yeah,
Sky Sports Boxer Show. Your name in there amongst some other quality fighters, so you must be pleased with that.
yeah, over the moon. I mean, I've been calling for this for a couple of fights, but it took that barn burner to sort of get my foot in the door and get a conversation with the boys at Sky and yeah, and get this opportunity to fight on their platform. So I've been wanting this for since I started 17 years ago. So it's a dream come true to fight on their show, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it, mate. I can't wait.
Yeah, happy days. Obviously,
Can
how
I
long have
just
you
say?
known?
Can I just say? For anyone that's going to watch this, I'm sat in a van. I'm looking at the picture. I look like I'm holding a séance in the corner of the camera. I'm like, oh, so let me just clear that up. I'm sat in a van, so that's what I look like. I'm in some spooky room.
Thanks for clearing that up. Yeah, obviously you mentioned there about fighting on this show. How long have you known that you were going to be on this show, that it was going to be Sky Sports? Is that what kind of has taken, the 6 or 7 months? Were you just waiting to definitely
Yeah,
be on this type of show?
yeah. That was. I mean, we had a conversation. I think April, June, June. I think it was. I think might be wrong. We had the chat then about. I said I won't be ready till September, and then everything else, like I would have been ready in September, but they that this is the date that I was given. So so yeah, and Sean and they was happy with because once Sean was made my mandatory, that was a fight that interests them, and it's a good selling point. I mean, two London lads going at it on a London show. So yeah, they was interested in that, and that was that really, mate. So thankfully, it was pretty simple. We just had to wait, obviously, for me to heal after the last fight, and then get this done. So it took a little bit longer than I wanted, but we're here now, and we've got the shot, and that's all that matters.
You mentioned there you're fighting your mandatory, Sean Robinson. He's 11-1-1 for people that don't know. What do you know about him and what he kind of brings to the table?
Quite a lot, to be fair. Like I know Sean quite well. He trains 10 minutes down the road from my gym. Sparred him loads of times. I mean, you can't take nothing from sparring. You got to expect a complete different fighter. But because that was a couple of years ago. But yeah, like I've said this in an interview previous. I've actually bought tickets off him to go and watch him fight before. Like, that's mad, isn't it? But when he boxed on the Boxer series, I was sparring him for that fight, and we got tickets off him to go and watch him and support him. And yeah, it's just a game at the end of the day, mate. And he's managed to get himself in a mandatory position, and I'm the champion. So at the end of the day, we're gonna have to be enemies for 30 minutes, but that's what it is, isn't it?
That's brilliant. I didn't know that. So would you say then, obviously you said there you paid him to go and what, you just go and support him. So you would be is it right? Am I right in saying you would kind of be friendly enough then?
Yeah, friendly enough. Yeah, 100%. Like that's what I mean. Like when we've gone in sparring with Linus, Brad, him, like we've always got on really well, and it just is what it is at the end of the day. But like friendship put aside, it ain't gonna stop me. It ain't gonna stop me going to town on him. Really, just is
So
it
that
is
does
what it is.
so that doesn't matter to you at all. Then obviously, have you had this kind of scenario before where you are fighting someone who you would
No,
classify
I've
as a
never
friend?
fought someone that I've sparred. No, I've never fought
Oh,
someone that
really?
I've sparred. So
Oh,
yes, yeah, again, a new thing for me. So obviously he's going to bring sparring. He's gonna bring something completely different to the table, and so am I. So you got to look at it as a completely different person. So, but yes, it's a new experience all round. Obviously, the camps know each other quite well. So yes, it's good.
Brilliant. Provided you win this, obviously this would be your second defence of your English title. Is the next, obviously you don't want to look too far ahead, but would you say, if you do make a successful defence, is the next step the British?
Yeah, I mean, if that's what comes along, then then that's what it is. Like Rod got a good idea of what he wants from me. Like I trust Rod with my life, so he can plan me route. I think this will be my last fight for the English. Hopefully we get to stay with Sky moving forwards, get a good convincing win, show them what I'm about, and stay with them. But who knows what's going to happen? If the British comes up, we might take that. If something else comes up, we'll take like with this game. The phone can go and everything can change. So that's something I've realised quite a lot over the last couple of years. So, but obviously the dream has always been the British title, so that will take priority over anything else in my head. But obviously, I've got to listen to the team as well.
Obviously, I believe Troy Williamson's the current British champion, and he's fighting Josh Kelly. In a few
Yeah,
weeks, less than a week after you, or a week or two after you.
yeah, I'm going. Yeah, I'm going to go.
Oh, you going? So going to sit ringside to get in the ring after to face off with one of them? Is that what you mean?
Well, listen, I might have black eyes. I ain't doing that. I ain't doing that with black eyes. But no, listen, regardless of it being my weight, and I'm a boxing fan as well, and that's a great fight. So, and I can't really break the news yet, but there's a fight that's going to be released, which is the main reason I'm going. But hopefully that can get released and that explains itself. But yeah, I can't say nothing at the minute. But that's why I'll be going up there. But obviously at the same time, I'll be on a scouting mission for Josh and Troy. But and thirdly, I want to see that fight anyway. That's an unbelievable fight. So, and I've never been out in Newcastle, so it'd be great to go up there and see what it's like up there.
So may as well ask you while you're talking. I wasn't going to ask you this, but may as well while we're talking about the fight. Obviously, that is in your division, and there is interest for you, and you're going to be there as a fan. How do you see that fight going? Do you think Troy Williamson's recent form could be too much, or do you expect Josh Kelly to show his class?
You know what? I like if you ask me today, I'll give you an answer, and then tomorrow I'll give you a completely different one. Like I keep changing my mind. Like I think if the right mindset of Josh Kelly gets in the ring and Troy's a little bit weight drained, Josh could have the performance that we've always expected out of him, and it could cause the upset and win. But the logical thing is to pick Troy, the experience, the power. Do you know what I mean? And just that more battle hardened sort of fighter and more experienced as a pro. So the sensible thing is to pick Troy and his power, but then, like I say, if Troy's if it depends on how Troy is at the weight and how Josh is prepared and how fit he is and how he's going to be going down the stretch in the 12 rounder.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. You wake up, you pick Williamson, you wake up the next day, you pick Kelly. I
But that's
completely
why it's
agree.
so interesting, ain't it? Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, 3-1, 2-0. So
Yeah, no, it's a good fight. And as a side note, if you say you've never been to Newcastle, I've been there a couple of times with my mates, and it's a it's a good night out. So provided you win and all in
good
your fight,
laugh, yeah.
you'll have good celebrations up there. I'm telling you.
Oh, blinding. Happy days.
You haven't fought in 7 months. It was the 15th of April, wasn't it? Has it been frustrated at all, or did you want to have a little bit of time off since the last fight
No,
was quite
so
grueling?
I boxed in October, November, and April. So it was. I said I wanted some time off. I had a couple of holidays booked. I wanted to fight again in September. Listen, at the end of the day, boxing is boxing. Sometimes things just don't work out the way you want them to. But it was nice to go and have a little bit of time off. I went away for the first time since COVID. I've got everything done, and so that was nice. Refreshed myself a little bit, recharged, and now I'm looking to stay busy after this fight. If a fight come up in March, I'll take that. Like I want to stay as busy as I can now. So I've had my little breather, and now I want to stay as busy as I can.
Absolutely. Going back to that fight for a minute, don't want to dwell on it for too long, but it was a bit. It was, for the fans, it was a cracking fight for how long it lasted, and obviously, you got the finish. Do you know during that fight that you're in a fight that's something special, that like the fans are on the edge of their seat? Can you tell?
You know what? There's I remember us a bit of the eighth round, and we're both head to head whacking away at each other. And for some reason, I just thought in my head, I was just going, mate, it is fucking loud in here. And that was probably the only point where I was like, mate, I've never heard noise like this in one of my fights. Like his fans were on one side of the room, mine were on the other, and it was just back and forth, and it was wicked. I mean, I've never experienced an atmosphere like that in the ring, and hopefully I don't experience too many more nights like that in the ring. But I mean, the atmosphere was just on another level. But yeah, that was the only point really where I realised, oh mate, everyone's right involved in this. But when I got out of the ring, it was Barry Jones came up to me and went, mate, that eighth round was unbelievable. And I was like, really? It didn't register to me until I watched it back, and I was like, I don't remember it being like that. Like, obviously, where you're so in the fight and you just if he throws three, you're trying to throw four, and like you're just trying to work back and just trying to outwork the other person. So you're not really thinking of what's going on. And but yeah, when I watched it back, it was something special.
So can we expect exactly the same thing on the 27th of November?
Maybe, mate. It depends on what version of Sean turns up. But it's nice to know I've got that in my locker. Do you know what I mean? I can go to the well and I can dig that out. I can. A lot of people said to me, like, a lot of fighters haven't got that in them to dig that out of themselves and to go deep down. But hopefully I don't have to use that. But listen, if it's a need, then I can. So, but I'm not too sure whether he can. So I'm not too sure whether we'll need to see that.
You've got two knockouts in a row now, since stepping up to super welter. Do you feel like you've definitely, you've been here for what, the best part of a year now? Do you feel like you've properly carried your power up and you've grown fully into the weight now?
Yeah, I feel like I'm hitting my full capacity power wise. Do you know what I mean? Where I was going down to welter, I was losing a little bit of that. Like I'm eating 6 meals a day. I'm I'm firing every single day. I'm not cutting nothing out. I'm training to the best of my ability, and that reflects on fight night. Do you know what I mean? It means I can do absolutely everything. I'm not fighting the weight at all. So it's really, really nice. So yeah, I definitely feel like I've carried the power better. No, I'm not punching even harder. I put the bigger weight. So yeah, hopefully a third knockout on the spin.
Obviously, looking at your opponent again, you say you know each other quite well and you spar and stuff. What does he do well? He does look like, just looking at his record in a few clips, he does look like he looks like a decent boxer, a former Southern area super welterweight champion as well, and he's only got the one loss, so he will be, he'll be a tough opponent for sure.
Mate, Sean's a good kid. Sean is a good kid, but at the end, I can't say too much of what his weaknesses are on him because you never
Oh,
know whether he's going to stick or runner. Sean's a good kid, but I believe I'm a lot better, and I believe I do a lot more good things than he does. So, but I mean, I think the obvious thing is punch power. He's never knocked nobody out. Do you know what I mean? I've had two on the spin. I've knocked out 7 out of my 14 wins. So, um, so yeah, I think that's going to be a telling factor on the night. I've knocked people out in the first round, and I've knocked True Brown out in the ninth, and I've put Curtis Felix down in the 10th. So I've got power. I can duck power the whole way through a fight. He's never knocked no one out, so I can knock you out. First, I can knock you out in the 10th. So he's got to hit me about 1,000.
Sorry, it must have just broke up there a wee second, but yeah, the next question I was going to ask was just really, obviously, the fight's at Ali Pali, so quite a unique venue,
Yeah,
as well for boxing anyway. But like the likes of Adam Azim, Dion Juma, Michael the Wild fighting for the British title, surely you're buzzing. I know you've mentioned it before, but like, to have your name on that card, and hopefully from your eyes you'll be able to steal the show.
Do you know what so obviously, like I said, boxing fan, go to as many shows as I can, and so I sign up to like you get the pre-sale tickets and stuff like that. So I get the emails come through, and an email come through from Boxer, and I opened it, and the poster was there, and I was on it, and I was like, oh shit, like so that was like a little proud moment. I was like, you know what, fucking fair play. But yeah, that was really really nice to see me on there with a lot of other fighters, and but yeah, it's gonna be a great show. I mean, I've been sparring Adam Azim. I've done a few rounds of him this camp, and he's a proper talent, really really good kid. Um, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it all. I mean, I'll go to the Ali Pali every year for the darts, so it's going to be weird to be there for a boxing show and to be fighting. So yeah, it's going to be a good night.
That's funny. I was going to ask you that. I can't remember. I must have seen on your Instagram or something that you were a darts fan, because we are going to say, what it'll feel like, to be sitting there in the middle, standing there in the middle of the ring, boxing, rather than cheering on the darts. And obviously, looking at there's been big like some of the best dart players ever, Phil Taylor, Eric Bristow, Van Gerwen, and all have kind of graced that stage. So you're going to be in the same place as them. So do you
I
think that'll
know.
be an odd sensation? The fact that you're not going there to watch the darts and have a
Well,
pint or two, but you're going to fight.
I'll be back there the next month for the darts. So it's really really weird. Like I've got tickets to go back there in December. So literally about 3 weeks later, I'm back there again, but for a completely different reason. But yeah, it will. It's. I mean, it's a great arena. Like it's like a big York Hall. Everyone's on top of the ring in there. Do you know what I mean? It's not massive and like so you pack everyone in there and the noise is crazy. So it's going to be a really really good atmosphere for all fighters and yeah. I mean it's great that they brought that back as a boxing venue. I think that's a fantastic venue. So especially for cards like this, you've got a lot of up and coming fighters on it. It's not like you're not talking like like a world champion. You're not talking like a world title fight that needs an arena. So instead of putting a show like this at York Hall, it's nice to have this still at like somewhere like Ali Pali where you're going to get a good few thousand in there, and there's going to be a lot of noise. So, but yeah, it will be special.
For sure. Do you think then this is going to be the breakthrough fight for you almost? The fact that there's going to be a massive crowd there, big TV show, big promotion, big platform. Do you think this is the breakthrough for yourself?
100%, 100%. This is what I've been working for. 15 fights is what I've been working towards for 17 years to get myself into this position. And there's no chance on this earth I'm going to let this slip.
Brilliant. Obviously, another thing I wanted to ask you about, which is probably different. Have you ever boxed on a Sunday before?
I have. I debut.
Your
My
debut was on a
debut.
Sunday?
How is that? For some, I can't remember why. Steve Goodwin put on a show on a Sunday, and I can't remember why. But yeah, so how mad's that? I've fought on Sunday twice. Most fighters don't fight on Sunday in their lifetime. So, but but yeah, yeah. Weirdly, here I have.
Is it? Do you think it will be odd fighting on a Sunday at all? Because you're used to fight week starting on the Monday, cutting the weight, etc. Obviously, with Sky and Boxer, you'll have to do the public workout and all that. But is it just a matter of delaying it one day?
Yeah, literally, that's all it is. I mean, like while you're in camp, you kind of lose track of the days anyway because you're so routine and like you're listening to your body like for like rest and stuff like that. So days days just sort of go by. I mean, you look and go, I mean, it's Thursday tomorrow. I'm like, mate, where's this week gone? So that was just, and I think I'll be so excited as well. I mean, I've never done a presser on Sky. I've never done an open work. I've never done anything like that. So all that's going to be new to me. So I'm going to be so excited about that. I'm not going to think about it being 24 hours later. And luckily, so Rod's son Archie is having his first ever amateur fight on the Saturday. So originally I was meant to be fighting on the Saturday, and we was like, mate, we're going to miss Rod's son's first fight. So now they've moved it to the Sunday. We can go. So I'm going to go straight from the weigh-in, go and refuel, and go to Epping, which is around the corner from our gym, and watch Rod's son in his first amateur fight.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. It's good the way it's worked out then. It was definitely meant to be this card for you.
100%, 100%. That's exactly what Rod said. I've never seen someone so over the moon that a fight had been moved as when he found out it was on the Sunday. So, and his boys really excited as well. So yeah, it's gonna be nice to go and watch him. I mean, Rod doesn't get like with me. He's so calm. And I've never seen him so erratic. Honestly, around his son, he's just like, mate, I can't deal with it. Like he's so level headed with all the pros, but his boy's getting in there and he's panicking. So I'm gonna have to roll Rod's hand, I think, on the night.
Brilliant, brilliant. I understand that you still work full time as well as being a boxer, don't you?
So yeah, like I said, I'm sat in the van now. I mean, after COVID and that, a couple of sponsors couldn't carry on. So I've got a couple of fantastic sponsors now. But this is only a part-time job. But I'll do a couple of PTs and I'll just do this a few days if you need me. What I work for, he's actually going to sponsor me, Ridgewell Flat Roofing, and he's someone that comes in the gym and if he needs like a load drop somewhere, I'll just do that. Like, so it only takes me a couple of hours. It's not like I'm smashed out all day. So it only takes me a couple of hours. I just go and drop stuff off. And that's it really. It just keeps me busy as well. It's nice. Otherwise, you're sort of sitting there and not doing much during the day. So, but this is. I think tomorrow is my last day doing a bit of work, and then that's it. Then until Friday night.
I was going to say then. So do you don't find it too? You don't find it almost like difficult to kind of juggle the two. You actually kind of prefer it in a sense because it does fill
Yeah.
a few hours.
You know what? Where everything's going up cost wise as well, you need a few more incomes. Like, but where I have got some good sponsors, I don't need a full time job, so I can have a couple of little part time jobs. I mean, I do a few PTs and that, but then I might drive this. I mean, I've drove it twice this week, so like it just takes up a bit of time, puts a bit of extra money in your pocket, so it's handy really, and it helps him out as well. Do you know what I mean? Because he's got a busy company.
Yeah, absolutely. We're now what just say 2.5 weeks away from a fight night now. How do the last couple of weeks look like for you? When's the last spar and when does training kind of taper down a little bit for you?
So I've got a 10 round off Friday, a 10 round on Monday, and then I'll probably do like a 6 rounder at the end of next week, but like fast pace. I've been sparring Pat McCormack and Chris Congo a lot. I've done 6 with Pat, 4 with Chris at the start of the week. My first 10. So I've actually got Adam Azim's brother Hassan on Friday. I think I've got a split between Adam and him on Friday, and then I'm back down at MTK on next Monday, I think. But so I'm getting in really good rounds. So yeah, I've got them. They're my last bars, and then obviously got the dreaded track work in between that as well, which is great fun. Sprinting yourself around the track. But yeah, that's tie up the S&C. So yeah, it's just basically the last week before fight week is hard because obviously you are starting to cut weight, like you are coming down, so but your intensity's got to stay quite high. So it is quite a grueling week, but it's only 1 week, and then it's the easy part.
Yeah, so obviously you said there Adam Azim's been a sparring partner, his brother as well, Chris Congo. So yeah, you've had ideal preparation really for your fight then, the likes of them.
Yeah, I mean the most rounds I've done is probably with Pat. So I mean he's just signed with the Zone, Olympic silver medalist. So
Yeah,
like getting rounds with him and having Chris on the back, it's like they're fresh as well. So it makes me sharp, and I've got to adjust the different styles during the spar. So it's covering all areas for me really. I mean they've been fantastic down at Ben Davison's gym and Shane McGuigan's. They've had me down there. I've done a few. I've sparred once in my gym. We've been out every single time. So, but which has been a nice change as well. But yeah, it's been perfect. It's been perfect. But yeah, Adam Azim, I tell you what, for his size, really, really, really good fighter.
funny you mentioned Adam Azim. There's a couple of fellas in our group chat, and they're all big Adam Azim fans. And we were talking earlier about a potential, imagine 2023 or 2024, but imagine Adam Azim against Dalton Smith or something like that, because a few of us are big Dalton Smith fans as well. It's like
Yeah,
we're thinking like that could be. There's definitely, I think it's safe to say that Adam Azim's probably, you're looking at a future pay-per-view star, definitely.
Mate, do you know what? He One thing that really surprised me. Obviously, he's fast. He's a lighter weight. Listen. I expected him to be like, I can't see your hands fast. Obviously, I'm
Mhm.
sparring him in big gloves, so he wasn't as quick as I thought he'd be. But the boy, I mean, what is he, a light welter?
Yeah,
Light welter, mate. He can crack with both hands. He can proper. He's probably the smallest person that's hit me. I mean, he's a big boy for the weight. But if you look at a picture of me standing next to him, but he hit me, and I thought, oh, mate, you've got a good dig on you, proper good dig. But which is probably why he's knocking everyone out. But at
yeah,
that with the hand speed and 8 ounce gloves, I mean, Ryan Charlton's got a difficult night on his hands.
yeah. I agree. Obviously, Ryan Charlton's good fighter in his own right, but it just seems like Adam Azim at the minute. There's no real stopping him. Obviously, going back to you, and finally, I just wanted to ask you before we wrap it up, what can everyone tuning in on November 27th expect from Sam Gilley?
Just watch the last fight, and you get an idea of what you get when I'm in a ring. Listen, entertainment. It's always good to watch, and recently there's been a few knockouts, so we're gonna push for the same thing this time.
Brilliant, Sam. Well, thanks once again for your time. I really appreciate it.
Oh, mate, thanks for talking to me.